So I'm sure as most of you can clearly see, when it comes to gaming news, things have slowed down to a crawl. There is pretty much nothing going on, nothing significant anyway, and it's hard to find things that are really that interesting to talk about as of late, but I'm trying to do my best to bring out some content for you guys. And I came across this article that I honestly find pretty interesting. It's pretty funny, really. It's not any I don't necessarily know if you can consider it useful information, but I think some of you will certainly find it funny like I did. Apparently, Zelda fans are in protest, and one fan even ended up smashing a PlayStation 4 over a Chinese-developed PS4 game that looks like a complete copy and paste of Zelda Breath of the Wild. It says that open-world game Genshin Impact has been described as an anime Breath of the Wild. Some Zelda fans in China are not happy about it at all. The Chinese-developed RPG's first gameplay footage was shown recently at the ChinaJoy Gaming Expo. As CCN reports, the game has been called out for allegedly copying Breath of the Wild. Via Twitter, user Vivian.ysy. Here's a side-by-side comparison of in-game screenshots, and I will have this link down below so you can check out the screenshots for yourself. And looking at these screenshots, yeah, I mean, there are some major similarities here. It does look very, very similar in many ways. It goes on to say, at ChinaJoy, Zelda fans took photos of themselves holding their Switch consoles running Breath of the Wild, flipping off the Genshin Impact display at the Sony booth. They're upset that Sony would release such a similar looking game, and they show photos of people doing this in protest at this Sony booth. It looks awfully strange. And apparently one guy even destroyed his PS4 in protest. I guess he was just carrying his PlayStation 4 with him at this expo, and he just smashed it on the ground and started destroying it. I don't know why anybody would do that to protest a single game. I mean, if I'm being honest, the best way to protest it is just don't buy the game, don't spend money on it. But, this is just, it's interesting to me because it's like, I get it. We don't like to see developers do this, and it does make me question why Sony would allow this. I mean, maybe they're just letting it slide through because they are having trouble finding a lot of developers who are willing to make, Chinese developers, I should say, that are willing to make games exclusively for the PlayStation 4. We know that Sony is trying really hard to build up a presence in China and carve out some market share there. But I think they might have to do something about this because if fans are that upset, man, like they're standing right outside of the booth after gameplay was shown off, that's not the response you want to get, is people protesting your game, flipping you off, and clearly, I don't know. If I'm being honest, it sounds a little bit like too much. Like, come on, guys. Like, chill out. It's not that serious. Just don't buy the game, okay? Just don't even pay attention to it if you really have that much of a problem with it. But I'm not a big fan of that either. I don't like when developers just completely rip off a game note for note. I have no problem when developers want to take inspiration from a game and make it very similar in many ways, but I think it's always important that these creators put their own spin on it, add something different, add something unique, just add something to it. Don't just literally copy and paste. Now, I haven't seen the game myself, so I can't really say for sure how true it is. I can really just take the word of this article and the people who are protesting, but looking at the screenshots, you definitely can see some major similarities, and it just reminds me, speaking to the guy who destroyed his PS4, because this is something that I didn't cover that I thought was pretty funny that I should have covered. There was apparently a bunch of people who went out of their way to destroy their Xbox Ones with the hope that they were going to get reimbursed with a PlayStation 4, and I think it was a up-and-coming rapper who I never heard of, but apparently he's somewhat known. He pretty much tweeted out, hey, if you film yourself and if you show me destroying your Xbox Ones, I will buy you a PS4. And it was the craziest thing because you go on this thread and you see like videos, like seemingly like I don't want to say hundreds, but there was a lot. There was a lot of videos of people just taking bats, baseball bats, to their Xbox Ones, throwing them, off of their balconies. It was just insane. People throwing them down steps, and just I think there was somebody who even maybe lit it on fire or something like that. And to me, it was just the craziest thing in the world, because, I can totally understand people wanting a PlayStation 4, but taking somebody's word for it to the point where you're going to smash your own Xbox, I have to imagine that at that point, you really just weren't using your Xbox, and you were just looking for any excuse to just destroy yours. But it is some of the funniest stuff I've seen. So it just really, I don't know, man. Like, there's not a whole lot going on, but something like this, getting back to this Chinese game, I don't know. Maybe Sony should honestly listen to these fans if they're this upset and they feel like this developer is just completely ripping off Nintendo and Zelda Breath of the Wild. Maybe they should try to go back and change a couple things, or just add something to make it stand out, because I'll tell you, when you show the first footage of your game, it's not a good sign when you have people standing outside that booth protesting and flipping you off. That's not the ideal outcome. Are some of these people going way too far, like this individual who smashed his PlayStation for some reason? Yes, I would say that that's the worst way to probably protest a game. Just don't spend your money on it. Just make your voice heard. You don't have to do that. But that's going to do it for the video, guys. Again, I know it wasn't the most exciting thing in the world, but I thought it was kind of funny, and it reminded me of all these people smashing their Xbox Ones. I have no idea if these people who did this ended up getting their PS4s. I can only hope they did. Would I personally do that? No. If somebody told me, hey, smash your console and I'll give you a new one, I'm not going to take their word on that. But still, it makes for some really entertaining stuff to watch. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Leave the video a like if you did enjoy it. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Hit the bell notification icon and feel free to share the video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.